Supervisor Safety Management System Training, Module 5. In this module, we'll begin by looking at occupational health and hygiene. Noise controls. Anything that affects our ability to communicate effectively is considered noise. Noise levels can negatively impact safety when communication is hampered. Reducing noise at the source is the most effective way to control noise, including purchasing quieter equipment, modifying existing equipment. If noise control at the source is impractical, noise transmission will be prevented by engineering controls. Moving noisy machines or processes to remote areas of the site. This can effectively reduce the noise exposure to people in the workplace. Treating the walls and ceilings with sound-absorbing materials. Erecting enclosures such as walls or tarps to totally or partially enclose machinery. At last resort, where noise control is impractical, personal hearing protection must be used. Air pollution and controls. Common sources of air pollution. Project and shops. Diesel fume particulate. Carbon monoxide from gasoline exhaust fumes. Dust from abrasive work such as cutting and material handling. Chemical vapors. Welding fumes. Silica from buffing concrete, crushing operations, aggregate handling, and sandblasting. And asbestos and lead dust during renovations. In office and shops, bacteria, dust, and fungus in the ventilation systems. Drawing pollutants in from shops and vehicle exhaust. Chemicals such as oil-based paints. Common air pollution controls. We'll have natural ventilation. Ensure adequate cross-ventilation. Position internal combustion engines downwind. Ensure hoardings are not too tight. Allow fresh air into the structure. Ensure adequate heaters are drawing fresh air from outside. Dilution ventilation. This includes the use of portable fans. Increase fan speeds on existing ventilation units to increase makeup air. And mechanical ventilation. This is local exhaust. Snorkel tubes to vent diesel, gasoline, and welding fumes out of the building. Cleaning of ventilation system. And scrubber units, both portable scrubbers and inline diesel exhaust types. Frostbite and hypothermia. Signs of frostbite and hypothermia. Frostbite occurs when the fluids and tissues of the skin freeze. Usually the frostbite will occur in the extremities such as the nose, ears, cheeks, fingers, and toes, since the ends of the body are difficult to keep warm in very cold conditions. The first sign of frostbite is reddening of the skin. The affected area then exhibits white, gray, or yellow blotches. Finally, the skin becomes completely white and sometimes blisters form on the skin surface. If a worker exhibits signs of frostbite, first aid care should be administered through the medical center. Hypothermia is a reduction in the core body temperature. As the body temperature drops, a person will exhibit symptoms and states. Initially, the worker may have trouble with his or her dexterity. Next, the speech may become slurred and the worker may stumble or seem confused and disoriented. In very serious cases, the worker will stop shivering and may deny that they are cold. Medical attention is required at the first sign of hypothermia, since a further reduction in body temperature can lead to serious consequences. Heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Let's first have a look at the cause of heat exhaustion. That'd be inadequate salt and water intake causing the body's cooling system to break down. Some of the symptoms include heavy perspiration and cool, moist skin, body temperature over 38 degrees, weak pulse, normal or low blood pressure. Person is tired, weak, clumsy, upset, or confused, is very thirsty, or is panting or breathing rapidly, and their vision may be blurred. To prevent it, reduce activity levels and/or heat exposure. Drink fluids regularly. Workers should check on each other to help spot the symptoms which often precede heat stroke. For heat stroke, the cause, if the body has used up all its water and salt, it will stop perspiring. This can cause body temperature to rise. Some of the symptoms include high body temperature over 41 degrees and any one of the following. Person is weak, confused, upset, or acting strangely. Has hot, dry, red skin. A fast pulse. A headache or dizziness. In later states, a person may pass out and have convulsions. To prevent it, reduce activity levels and/or heat exposure, drink fluids regularly, and workers should check on each other to help spot the symptoms. Preventing strains and sprains, protecting the back. Many people will experience back pain at some point in their life. Guidelines for safe lifting include: know the weight of the object before attempting the lift, know the physical limitations, plan the route, using lifting devices such as a wheeled dolly whenever possible, always lift using the legs, position the load so you can see where you are going, and always get help if the weight is unknown or maybe excessive. Repetitive tasks. To avoid injury from repetitive tasks, supervisors will ensure that workers are not assigned jobs requiring repetitious motions for extended periods whenever possible. Task rotation can effectively reduce the risk of repetitive stress injuries. WMIS 2015. Responsibilities. The supplier must classify and label their products and provide SDSs. The employer is required to ensure labels are in place, complete and current SDSs are available, and personnel are sufficiently trained to understand labels and SDSs. Provide SDSs and labels for controlled products that may be manufactured at the workplace. An employee is to use the information to protect themselves as well as fellow employees from injury or illness that may be caused by controlled products in the workplace. Most controlled products that are transported and/or warehoused by the company are classified under the Transportation of Dangerous Goods Act. SDSs or labels are not required in addition to dangerous goods placards. However, small containers of these products may require labeling. Controlled products that are purchased as a consumer commodity and used in the workplace require proper labeling and an SDS from the original manufacturer. Inspections policy. Bryers Contracting believes a proactive assessment is required to control and minimize losses of human and material resources. Regular assessments of our safety management system are beneficial for identifying areas of improvement and establishing corrective actions to ensure we are operating within the company, client, and regulatory framework. Bryers Contracting will maintain their EH&S quality assurance program by continually monitoring the worksite with both formal and informal inspections and assessments. All assessments will be documented and kept on file for a period of 2 years. Management will ensure that any concerns identified in the inspections are addressed with corrective actions as per company risk matrix and level of risk associated with any deficiency. Formal inspection. Bryers Contracting will conduct monthly formal inspections on facilities and nested projects. We will also perform weekly formal inspections on field projects to identify and correct unsafe conditions and behaviors. The inspections will cover premises, job sites, buildings, temporary structures, excavations, tools, equipment, machinery, work methods, and practices. A formal inspection is planned and will include an overall documented compliance assessment of the site or location and look for areas of improvement and implement corrective action. An informal inspection is one done by management and supervisors when they're in the field. They are not documented formally. However, any issue found must be documented and corrective actions applied and tracked using the hazard identification and correction process in the safety management system. Inspection schedule. Type of activity. So the formal facility inspection, the facility manager, worker, and joint occupational health and safety committee is responsible for completing this inspection once per month. The formal site inspection, the foreman and the worker is responsible to complete an inspection 1 per week per crew. This schedule is a minimum standard and may be superseded based on client inspection and audit requirements. All documents are located in the Forms and Exhibits section of the SMS. Daily equipment inspections. Prior to the use of any equipment, the operator is required to inspect the equipment to ensure it is safe to operate and no defects are present that will affect the safety of personnel or the environment. This will be done utilizing the daily equipment checklist format. This checklist may be substituted by the equipment supplier's checklist or client checklist depending on the project requirements. Preventative maintenance will be conducted as per manufacturer's requirements. Observations. The PTO observation. This is a single-page format that assesses elements such as health, safety and environment, and general observations. This can be completed at all levels throughout our operations, although it is mainly supervisor completed. This is a snapshot in time, workers and location being observed. Usually this is employee focused and the observer remains anonymous. The results of the observation data must be compiled and analyzed by the HSE department. The HSE department will identify any trends of safe or unsafe behaviors and present findings to management and supervision. And finally, we have our forms. Our supervisor binders containing the most common form are available through your HSE department. Most common forms have been uploaded and are available 24/7 on the Bryers training portal.